Welcome guys, this is Jeff from the Watkins Tree Farm. How are you? I hope you're doing well and thank you for tuning in today. Today we will be doing part 2 of the fire pit build and I'm super excited about it. I've been excited to do this project since the beginning of this channel. So today we will be getting rocks out of the flower bed area and the front tree area, and then we'll be arranging the rocks and then we'll do the rocks in layers. I'm not going to pretend I'm a professional. This is all new for me and I'm going to take you guys along. Before I do that, I want to say thank you to all my subscribers and thank you for subscribing to the channel, and it's much appreciated. And for those of you that this is your first time visiting the channel, I say welcome. This is the Watkins Tree Farm. I started a Christmas tree farm this year and I'm documenting everything we go through, and along with the Christmas trees, I also doing the projects around the house, and I hope I earn your subscription and you guys can subscribe to the channel. Every subscription helps to try to get this thing up and going. YouTube tells me I need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours before this can be more of a profit kind of deal. But anyway, enough about that. Thank you guys for subscribing. And let's get started on part 2 of this fire pit. So we got the rocks gathered, which wasn't the funnest part of this whole build, but we got the rocks gathered and we're going to be ready to lay out our first layer for the fire pit, and then we'll build on from there. Well, today is a beautiful day, finally. The weather has either been really hot and humid, or as of lately it's been really wet. Today is the first beautiful day, and it sounds like this weekend and next week's supposed to be very mild, in the 70s and the 80s for July and August in Kansas. Very unusual. But I'm going to take advantage of it, and we're going to start doing the mortar on this first course. Mix the mortar up and start doing this, and we'll learn together. I don't think I mentioned before, but I'm using type S mortar to do this, so just take note. I'm going to try to put the mortar on the foundation. This is the foundation that we poured a few weeks ago. Part 1 of this fire pit video. I'm not going to pretend I'm an expert, but I'm not afraid to give it a shot. I did the first bucket of mortar and it went fairly smooth. I'm sure as I go I'll figure more things out, but these stone are so irregular it's kind of hard to get the mortar evenly. So there's kind of a water spot where they've been over a couple days, and so I'm putting mortar in those spots and then just slowly working it down. So we'll go through this second bucket and see how it goes. So going through this first course, one thing that I have learned is working with these seams, these joints. At first I thought it was a little intimidating, but if you just put a big glob of mortar up there at the top and then just keep pushing it down, it'll eventually fill that crack. Now I don't have the correct equipment, but I get my hand in there and smooth it out. But that seems to work the best since these stones are so irregular. These joints tend to be difficult. As I'm sitting here working, I'm just thinking, if I were to leave any gaps, I could have critters, mice, I don't know what else, living back behind this. Now granted, the first time we fire up the fire pit, we'll smoke them out and probably roast them, but up until that, it could probably be a mess. So that's what I've learned on these joints. So we got to the end and we were a little short, so we had to go get another stone. I like this stone because of the length, but there's a big gap. And so I had my son Joshua go find me a rock. And we're going to stick that rock in there and mortar that part of it. So that's what we're going to do right now. Well, we're ready for the second course. Got the rocks laid out, got the mortar mixed up. We're going to get this going.
Let's do this!
We are finished with the rock work on the fire pit. That is awesome. What did you guys think of that airplane flying over? The K-State Salina Flight School does a lot of their training above our house. You can hear them do stalls and stuff like that. But today was probably the closest they got, but I thought I'd share that with you guys. Tips and tricks on this build that I learned. I think there's a couple things that I can pass on to you guys. One thing, especially here in Kansas in the summer, it gets hot. I'd keep your batch sizes small on your mortar. So I used a 5-gallon bucket, and as you can see in the video, I remixed and mixed again and remixed, and sometimes it dried out and I'd have to add water. The other tip would be, if you notice, I didn't use gloves, and if you don't want your hands to dry out or get really tight, I would recommend gloves. Guys, is I laid out the rocks before each row I did, and that helped us kind of get a game plan on how I wanted the rocks to lay out and fit together. So that helped a lot, probably saved a lot of time. Another thing would be, if you have a big gap like I did in a couple places, a person could fill that with mortar, but like I did a couple times was I went and got a rock and filled the void with most of that rock, and then I mortared it. So I think that would help you too. The only other thing I recommend is don't be afraid to try something new. I have done a little rock work helping people out, but this is the biggest project that I've been a part of and done. So tell me what you guys think below on this project, on the rock work that we're doing here for this fire pit. I'd like to say I'm finished with the fire pit, but we want to do a cap over the top of the rock work, and my wife's mentioned like a mosaic of little rocks, and so I have to sit down and kind of figure out how I'm going to do that. But that's another day, and I thank you guys for tuning in to this build. And if I earn your subscription, please subscribe. If you like this video, hit the like button as well. Thank you guys. You have a great day. God bless, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.